Bon voyage!
And good evening. This is Bob W6EJX, and we're heading out to the Channel Islands National Park. Anyway, I know that was probably kind of fun, but hopefully it came across okay. Anyway, I'll be your net control operator tonight for Papa System Great Outdoor Net. And this net meets every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific. This is a directed net, so please go through net control at all times, and your cooperation is always greatly appreciated. Before we get started, let's pause for any emergency or priority traffic. How do I get rid of these seagulls? Alright, hearing nothing but seagulls. We'll continue with the net. Stations with emergency or priority traffic can come into the net at any time with a double break, and net control will respond appropriately. The Papa system is an open membership-supported system in the Southern California area, with coverage from the Mexican border to Paso Robles and from the Channel Islands to Las Vegas, Nevada. If you are a visitor to the Papa system tonight, I invite you to go to papasys.com and register as a guest. With your guest registration, you'll get 45 days of free access to the Papa system. And at the end of your guest access period, we'd love for you to become an official subscribed member and continue to use and be a part of the Papa system family. However, all amateurs are welcome to participate in our daily, weekly, and monthly Papa system nets regardless of their membership status. Again, this is the Papa system Great Outdoor Net. Well, I hope everyone's doing well tonight. A little cooler temps. We got clouds have already come in here in Camarillo, so I guess that means that tomorrow might be a little cooler than today. But we'll see. It was a pretty nice day out here. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. We'd like to start our week off here on Sunday evenings and enjoy that. And tonight we're going to actually have a kind of a special net regarding the Papa Ham Camp. So that's coming up in about 2 weeks, actually 2 weeks from tomorrow, when we'll be heading out officially. And so we'll touch on that a little bit. If anybody has any questions or has anything they want to discuss or ask, I've been doing it for a long time, so I can't imagine not knowing an answer to your question. But if I don't, I will try to find out. So with that, let me pause for our announcements, and we'll get started with that.
Here are the Papa System weekly announcements for the week of August 11th. The Papa San Diego Luncheon. Papa will be meeting in person on August 16th at 11 a.m. at Cocina del Charro in San Marcos. Cocina del Charro has arranged for a special buffet. $24, including tax and tip. We will need a minimum of 25 attendees for this price. You can purchase your buffet meal tickets via PayPal on the Papa website 1 week ahead of the luncheon. We will have ham license testing at the San Diego Luncheon at 10 a.m. Please pre-register on the Papa webpage or go to http://ham.studysessionsk6sml. For any questions regarding the test session, please contact Patrick, K6SML at papatesting@live.com. Papa Quick Start Program. In conjunction with our test sessions, we have a Quick Start program for newly licensed technicians. Our Quick Start program is designed to get you on the air as soon as your new FCC license arrives and help you understand how to use your new radio on the Papa system to communicate on the air. The Papa system will provide you with a pre-programmed UHF handheld radio at no cost to you and assist you with technical and operational issues as you learn more about ham radio. More details are available at the test session and on the Papa website. Papa HFNet. On the third Sunday morning of each month at 8 a.m., our host, David KO6BAF, will be calling for check-ins on 40 meters, at or about 7.210 MHz. If you are interested, Click the link to add your name and call sign to David's Papa HFNet check-in list on the Papa website. Papa Ham Camp 2025. August 25th through August 31st, we will once again be on Santa Cruz Island for the annual Papa Ham Camp. If you are interested in joining us for a great day trip, please contact Bob W6CJX by email w6cjxbob@gmail.com. All this information and a whole lot more can be found on the Papa website at papasys.com. Please check your weekly Papa emails for the latest information on upcoming events, breakfast, and luncheons.
All right, thank you for those announcements. We do appreciate that. We got a luncheon coming up this weekend down in San Diego, which is probably one of the nicer ones, I think, with the buffet and the Mexican food. I wish it was a little bit closer. We could probably make it, but for those of you down in that area, and I've probably been there before, I'm sure it's a great place to have a nice luncheon and Papa meeting, of course. So, like I said, tonight we're going to kind of talk a little bit about Papa Ham Camp. In years past, I've always brought it up about 3 or 4 months ahead of time, and people get so tired of hearing about it. But, you know, we've been doing this, or I've been doing this literally about 15 years. I have to do a minus 1 year for COVID. It wasn't my fault. They closed the island down. I'm sure the island foxes were very disappointed. But, you know, it is such a great place to go and kind of do a reset if you can do it, if you can get away for, like we're doing probably about 4 days, I guess. And, you know, there's no cell service technically. I think at the end of the pier, if you stick your phone up in the air and one leg, cross your fingers, you might be able to get out a text message. And I didn't even know you could do that till last year, but apparently you can. And it depends on your service too. If you have, I think it's AT&T is probably the best one that's out there. It could be Verizon, not sure, but we'll see. But other than that, ham radio, our ham radio, the Papa system is our main form of communication from out there, and that's something that not everyone has. If you figure all the campers that are out there that come out, you know, they might have their FRS, GMRS radios and talking to each other, talking to the kids down at the beach, those kind of things. But they don't have the ability to actually talk to the mainland and talk to either their significant other or their kids if they've got ham license or just fellow Papa members. Any other announcements before we start the net? Okay, that was kind of my bad. I usually ask for more announcements afterwards and got kind of a little carried away there. Start talking about Papa Ham Camp, I get a little excited because I've been doing it for so many years. And it is something that, you know, I just can't stress enough for people to come out. Now, right now we're pretty much full as far as campers go. We got one thing to note is that, you know, to get a campsite there, you got to do it 6 months to the day. And that didn't even work for the first 2 or 3 weeks of February when I was trying to get our normal campsites. There's 2 campsites that we absolutely have to have, especially the first one. That's our kind of our base camp, and we can get into Oat Mountain, Papa One with a handheld if you have to. And, you know, we have other devices, other like a mobile unit with a Yagi and things, make a little bit, let's just keep it analog radio or HF and all that good stuff. All right, what else did I have? Oh, let me just play a little thing. This is something I recorded myself, so it's not AI. This is Bob AI, and gives you just a quick little overview. I didn't do the whole thing, but on the Papa website, if you go to the homepage, go to YouTube, and scroll down past the archive of this net, you'll see a island fox just sitting there looking all cute. And click on that, and there's a little video with pictures and my narration on it. So there's a little piece of that, so stand by. Each year, the Papa System, Southern California's premier repeater group, holds its annual Papa Ham Camp on Santa Cruz Island. Santa Cruz Island is located 26 miles off the Pacific coastline of Ventura, California, in the Channel Islands National Park. The island fox, who was on the endangered species list, has made a miraculous comeback and can be seen on most parts of the island. Special care has to be taken that these adorable little guys only steal your heart and not your food or articles of clothing. Besides our ham radio activities, there are plenty of great things to enjoy here. Some of our members rented kayaks and explored the sea caves, while others went on a 14-mile round-trip hike to Smuggler's Cove. Snorkeling is also a fantastic way to enjoy all that this island paradise has to offer. We made use of our solar panels to recharge our daily battery power needs and solar shower bags for a refreshing hot shower in the evening. Each night, we held an island net on one of the many Papa System linked repeaters to inform the folks back home of our daily activities. Each morning, we were greeted with a beautiful sunrise from our east-facing beach. There are plenty of old ranch and farming equipment from the island's past history for all the visitors to check out. This is a great place to do a reset from the hustle and bustle of everyday life with no cell service or Wi-Fi available to the visitors on the island. The only form of communication is our handhelds and mobile radios to the local repeaters. Well, it's our last night on the island, so we all get together for a final gathering to start making plans and look forward to next year's adventure. The bags are all packed and ready to go as we make our way down to the shore to meet our boat for our journey home. So that's like I said, that's just the audio portion of some of the video that's on the Papa System YouTube section there. If you want to just look at it and see what we do out there, there's pictures that go along with it. So, all right, with that, let's see. I'd like to call initially here for people that want to, or people that have been to the island, maybe if Adrian's out there, or maybe Rick, N6 IET. Invited a few people to come by if they want to share a couple stories or two, and then we'll take some regular check-ins, and if anyone has questions, bring them on. I don't know. I think I could probably answer almost anything. If I don't, I'll just say, no, I can't, but I'm pretty sure I can answer most things. So let me throw a call out for anyone out there, previous Ham Camp, Papa Ham Camp alumni, please come now. Well, it might be a lonely time on the island. I always envision being out there with the island foxes by myself. So anyway, I don't know. It was worth a shot. Let's see. Anybody wants to check in? You can always check in, say hello. You can always check in and just say, hey, I did this and that this weekend. It was a wonderful weekend. Went kayaking, biking, or something like that. That's always good. Just to hear from you is a pleasure. And if you have any questions or whatever for the net regarding the Channel Islands, that is governed by Joe Walsh, WB6ACU. He's a fellow ham, of course, and we all know him from the Eagles, I guess, too, and then of course his own solo career. And the Monsignor is there, so the two of them are the chairmen of the Santa Cruz Island. I think they go out there once a year and do some kind of a ceremony, but it was all ran by originally the Shumash Indians, and then some ranchers took it over. So let's take some check-ins and just see where we go from here. W6CJX, net control, please come now.
Kilo Oscar 6, Charlie, Delta, Brian on Papa Terror. No.
Kilo, Juliet 6, Golf Echo Uniform, Mobile, Papa 1.
Lima,
Kilo, Oscar 6, Juliet, Charlie, Alpha, Jeff, Papa 3.
Kilowatt, Charlie, 6, Echo, Sierra, Whiskey, Mike, Papa 1. Kilo 6,
November
Papa
6,
Foxtrot,
Hotel
November.
Alpha Lima, Papa 9.
Kilo Foxtrot 4, Papa Quebec Hotel.
Alpha Bravo 6, Mike Bravo.
Kilo Mike 6, Alpha Victor Hotel.
Kilo, Juliet 6, Golf Echo Uniform, if you didn't catch me the first time, Bob.
Yeah, I got you, Bob. I just want to make sure I so I took a little extra time writing things down. So let everyone know what I got. I think there was one that doubled that I didn't get everything. I got Brian, Charlie Delta Delta. I got Jim, FVN. I got Bob, GEU. I got Logan, LLB. I got Jeff, JCA. Mike, ESW. John, PFN. Hal, HAL. Ron, PQH. Jeff, AB6MB. And RJ, KM6AVH. So if I didn't just call you and you tried checking in, come back.
K06BKX. Kilo, Oscar 6, Juliet, Golf, Echo, Randy.
Okay, that's a pretty good round one, as Darren would say. You had a great net last night. Thank you, Darren, for running the Saturday night roundtable last night. It was very enjoyable, jogging a few memories, which we try to do here too, different nets. Okay, well, I got like 14 or 15 stations there, so let's get started with that. I'll try to keep my commentary down to a minimum. I'm just kidding. Let's say hello to Brian. This is his first trip this year, so hey, Brian, we gotta do one of those initiation things. I won't let you know what it is, but I think you'll like it. Go ahead, Brian. KO6CDD.
KO6CDD. Now I'm scared. Anyway, yeah, really looking forward to the trip. A little bird tells me, CCL, that there's going to be a launch while we're over there, so we may get some good shots of that if the weather's clear. And my daughter is a little salty right now because I told her I could not smuggle a fox back in my jacket. So other than that, you give me 15 minutes and I'll be ready to go out the door. Everything's packed except my clothes and throwing a few things in my backpack. So I'm really excited to go, Bob, and really looking forward to it. KO6CDD, back to net.
It sounds like Brian's ready for launch. It's a go. Wouldn't that be, there's no light pollution unless you're creating some. But out there's your middle of the ocean. They're not going to have a lot. And of course, for HF, just share a quick little story from Rick in 6IET. The first time he came out there, got his whole 30-foot pole, 30-foot inverted V dipole going with his Yaesu radio. And he's just going, man, I don't know what's wrong. This is terrible. And we're like, well, what's wrong, Rick? He hadn't even put up his tent yet or anything. We're already set up. We could maybe start dinner. And he's like, I don't understand it. And I said, well, what's wrong? And he says, there's no noise. He goes, I'm so used to noise being, he lives by UCLA or whatever. And I said, well, probably. And so he put a call out and someone came back to him and he's like, I don't believe this. There's just no noise floor out there. So those that are bringing HF this year should enjoy that. It should be a lot of fun. Well, we're ready for you, Brian. I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I've been there, like I said, 14 times, 15 minus the one. But definitely I'm excited to, help you out if, whatever, just to show you the ropes. No, there's nothing to do. It's just camping on an island. What could go wrong? Well, the initiation actually is just tying you down with 10 stakes and having the island foxes lick all the honey off of your face. So we'll see. Unless I forget the honey. KO6BKX, Evo, welcome. And he's been there. We had a great time last year. Go ahead, Evo.
Hey, good evening, Bob and everybody on the net. KO6BKX. So for me, it will be the second time on the island. I had a great time last year. And you know what? Last year, it was for me really going away from everything and just be all by myself and the people around me, of course. And it worked out great, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm staying the whole week, and I may make a walk on the island somewhere, something I didn't do last time. I was just relaxing, but it was very, very much appreciated. All right, I'll give it back to you, Bob. KO6BKX.
Well, it's definitely a great place for that. That's why I kind of shun the idea of getting, we'll see. I know technology's there. Yeah, Starlink would be great. I could bring my clear node and wouldn't have to use a repeater, but is that really what we want to do? I mean, getting into the repeater, unless someone takes Papa 1 off link, we might be in trouble. But we have basically all the repeaters to our disposal, but just not from our base camp. If you go up on the down to the shore and up on the cliffs, I mean, it's just us and water across the channel there. So we've talked to San Diego repeaters with no problem, and of course, just about any repeater you want to choose once you get up on the bluff there, because there's nothing in between. So we will have a good time as always, and it should be fun and a little later than normal. But I think maybe with this year having more cloud cover, and we have to do our solar charging, so that's all I always pick, at least the second week of August. And being this will be like almost the fourth week of August at the end, I don't know. We'll see if there's going to be too much, but it usually clears out by about 10 o'clock or so, just like it does here. Thank you, Evo. I'm looking forward to it too. I got stuff all over the garage. You'd think I was, I don't know what you'd think I was doing, but I got to get it all put in bags and get it ready to go out on the boat. So we'll work on that. All right, thank you, Evo. And let's say hello to Jim, KE6FVN, and down in Cerritos. What's up, Jim?
Good evening on the Outdoor Net, KE6FVN, Jim in Cerritos. Well, I had a fun-filled weekend. Both my brother David and I went down to San Diego for the USS Midway, or CV-41 museum. Then today, the two of us went over to the LA Harbor and visited the USS Iowa, BB-61, at berth 87, LA Harbor, KE6FVN.
Wow. To say the least, you guys were busy, but had a good time. Look at that. You visited both ships. And, God, I want to get down to the Midway. I know just about any PAPA member would be welcome with open arms down there, because we kind of know everybody there and been checking in for a long time. And, of course, they use our repeaters and things. So it'd be fun to get down there one of these days if we can work it out. I wish it coincided with the San Diego luncheon. That would be like a perfect trip. So we could do both, but it's always like the week after. We'd have to just stay longer, I guess. Well, thank you, Jim, as always. Good to hear from you, as always, too, and I truly, truly mean that. Let's say hello to Bob, KJ6GEU.
Hi, Bob. How you doing? Hope you can hear me okay. Just came down the west side of the Simi grade, so hopefully I'm making the repeater well. So, yeah, KJ6GEU here. Santa Cruz Island's wonderful. I've been over there a few times. Did some kayaking in the caves, like you mentioned. Did a fair amount of hiking there as well. Got some cute pictures of the island fox as well. And did actually check out all that old farm equipment. That kind of makes some interesting photos, some of that old hardware they got lying around up there. So yeah, maybe one of these years I'll be able to make it for the camping trip. Most of the time it's just I've got too much going on that time of year and I can't do it. But sounds like you guys having a great time. Anyway, I'm going to say 73s. Everybody enjoy the rest of your night. KJ6GEU, back to net control.
Well, a lot of people get a little bit scared not scared, and I'm not talking about you. I just mean some people say, no, I'm not going to go camping over there. Are you kidding? And, it's not, if a lot of people think, well, is there some nice restaurants and is there, I don't know, gift shops? Just to give an example, no, there isn't any. There's pit toilets and primitive camping, and there is water, as long as you're not afraid of yellow jackets or meat bees, I guess, whatever you want to call them. But we coexist with them. That's one of the greatest stories ever, is trying to go get your water from the source. There's several taps on there, but they have a spring, and they treat it and test it every single day. And sometimes it tastes really good. Other times it's like, oh boy, I guess it's okay. I mean, it's livable. But getting the water is another whole thing. And watching someone do it for the first time is just priceless. I guess I should record that sometime. But yeah, we'll have a good time. And like I can never stress enough, a day trip is amazing. You just get out there to the boat, catch an 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock boat, whatever, come on over, pack yourself a little backpack with some water and a sandwich or two or something, and then come on over and visit us. We'll be there. There's always someone there at campsite too. in Scorpion Campground. Usually me, because I'm the camp host, I guess. And we can check it out. There's some great hiking and just, and check out the island foxes and stuff. So thank you, Bob. And if you can get out there in the water, it's so clear. When you get on the pier, you look down and it's just blue, crystal clear. You can see the fish swimming around. And so a lot of people do a lot of snorkeling too. Not that the water's warm, but if you can get in there and get used to it, it's sure a lot of fun. All right, Bob, thank you. And let's say hello to Logan, who's been out there a couple times, I believe, at least once I know, maybe a couple. Logan, KD6LLB from W6CJX Net Control.
Good evening, Bob, and good evening, everybody on the net. This is Logan, KD6LLB on Papa 4 Saddle Peak. And, I don't count very well. I've been there 3 or 4 times. One year, I went out, I tried to cajole Josh into going, and it turned out he could go the week after, so I went, and then went again the next week, and did a bunch of stuff, both trips. But, I definitely, first of all, I definitely recommend anybody who's thinking about going. It's really pretty unique. It's not, it's just different from any other kind of thing. It's a boat ride. I like the boats. The boats are very enjoyable to me. And the island is really, really nice, and the company is exceptional. I really wish I could go this year. It just worked out that my servants have some sort of holiday. I'm legally required to give them time off. Anyway, I wish I could go, and turns out I'm probably not going to get a break. Hopefully early September. There's a bunch of stuff I have to take care of, I have a bunch of fond memories, and I like the people who go over there, and it's I don't know, I can't say enough. Anyway, all I can do is ramble about it. I look forward to hearing you guys on the island via radio, and hope everybody has a great week coming up. And Bob, if you would, just send me the date, the time, the boat you're riding on, just in case I decide to chuck my life up over it. But I can't use that expression. Anyway, I'd like to have the actual information for the boat ride over, just in case something breaks loose and I get to go. KD6LLB, back to net.
There we go. I found you. I was looking on my text message box here on my Mac, and I found you, so I was going to send you that. But I'll let you know, and then I'll send it to you also. It's going to be August 25th, which is a Monday. And we're going to be there, at least the bulk of us are going to be there from Monday to Friday. And in the past, we've always gone on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and come back Sunday. But this year, like I said, I had to do some creative reservations, and I ended up just booking it for that whole week because people were booking it before me. It's crazy. I don't know how else to explain it. I just never experienced that in all the, let's say, 15 times that I've made reservations, because I did make reservations during COVID, but then they canceled it. The 25th through the 3rd. Well, we have the island reservations from actually the 24th through the 31st, which is a Sunday. So but we have, I think James and Justin are going over on the 24th, and they'll be our people to kind of at least get the sites going, and then we'll be there on the 25th. And a lot of Papa Day people coming over on the 25th with us, so we'll have some help, porting our stuff that long half mile from the pier over to the campsite, which can be long if you're carrying something really heavy. Well, yeah, I would have said more than just once or twice, Logan. I know you've been there so many times, and you've helped us out every single time, and given us food and all kinds of great stuff. So we can't say a whole lot bad about that. All right, thank you, Logan. And let's say hello to Jeff, KO6JCA.
Thank you, Bob. Kilo Oscar 6, Juliet, Charlie, Alpha, Jeff coming in tonight on Papa 3. Great to hear you, Bob. And I actually just watched recently on the Papa website your ham camp video. and it was very interesting. I got to watch that today. I stayed through the end titles, through the credits. I saw your director credit. That was great. I didn't see Fox Wrangler, who the Fox Wrangler credit was. Maybe I missed that. But I have a question, since you've been going for so many years. Have you ever had an instance where civilians, non-PAPA, non-radio folks needed to get to communicate to the mainland and had to get help from PAPA radio campers? Anyway, 7-3 all, back to net control, KO6 JCA.
Wow, excellent question. You know, we get a lot of attention where our campsite is, campsite 2002. It's pretty much as you're coming up from the boat or the landing and all that. It's pretty much the first campsite you're going to see. It's on the left-hand side. And, you know, so people are constantly looking over. And in the past, and including this time, I'm going to bring my speaker stand. It's a regular speaker stand. And my Yagi that I mount to it has a mount, and then we put that out. And if that doesn't draw a lot of attention, because most people are just there to do some camping, a little, snorkeling, and you can't really fish from the pier or from the shore. I think you have to go a few miles away. But whatever they want to do, they end up having fun. But they can't help but walk by and look at that. And so to answer your question, actually, we had a person one time came down and said, I need to send a message to my, let's just say wife. It's been so many years since that actually happened. But we're there and available. And we always tell the people that come by that ask us questions like, if you need help or, of course, the Rangers stress if you need help, it's an emergency, you run up. It's all uphill to the Ranger station. And then, of course, they have everything, satellite, internet, phones, the whole thing. But, we just said if anybody needs something. So we did have a person one time wanted to get hold of, I think it was either their wife or their husband. I think it was the wife, and wanted to relay a message. And we did. We just, call out on the PAPA system. We just say this is Papa Ham Camp on Santa Cruz Island, and we have, not an emergency, but a message that needs to be processed. And it was easy, and I believe we gave his phone number, and I believe that all went through and was successful. So you got to figure, like I said, a lot of people there have sometimes little FRS and GMRS radios that don't go anywhere other than just around the campsites. But to explain to them what ham radio's all about, amateur radio, and how we can actually talk back home, and I can wish my lovely wife a good night from my tent on an HT, is kind of priceless, really. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question. But let me throw it back to you, Jeff, in case you had another.
Thank you, Bob. That's great. Yeah, I figured in all the time you've been there was some help that needed to be done, and that's great info. Back to you, KO6 JCA.
Actually, one year we had one of our campers was an attorney, a lawyer, and she, I'm not giving any names or anything away, she had some stuff to work on, and we're like, I hate to tell you this, but there's no emails, and well, she ended up finding a spot up on the hill that she could actually send an email out, and we named it after her. I can tell you, it's Pam. Her name was Pam, and we still call it Pam's Elbow, because it's like this one little bend in the kind of like a fire road that goes up the hill on the right side from our camp. And she was able to get a very, very important message out. But the funny part about it is her husband, who was also a PAPA member and a ham radio operator, told her that, oh, yeah, no, there's no problem. He had never been out there, but he said, no problem. Yeah, just to get her to go. And then she found out when she got there, but she couldn't leave, that there was no cell service or emails or anything. So in a way, it was kind of funny, but then I'm so glad that she was able to get that important thing out there. W6CJX for the PAPA system, great outdoor net. We're talking PAPA Ham Camp 2025 coming up in a couple of weeks, and we'll be out there. We'll have a island net each night and blabber about at least a half an hour worth of what we've been doing, what's been happening, and just anybody just wants to check in and say hi to us out there on an island. So it still never really gets old. All right, let's say, thank you, Jeff. Let's say hello to Mike, KC6ESW. Welcome.
KC6TJX in the crib, KC6ESW, I should say, on the net. KC6ESW, good evening. It's still in the 80s here in Santa Clarita, so quite warm. And yes, the ham camp. You guys have made it a success each year. I think this is the third year that you've done it since I've been in the club, and it's always something I look forward to, hearing you guys over there and roughing it. I know it's definitely not glamping, as they say. You guys are bare bones, but again, always fun to hear you guys over there, and we're still waiting to hear if Adrian is going to KK6HNG is going to do his island hike. That's always fun as well. And being able to track him on APRS and whatnot. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, curious about your provisions as well. Obviously, a lot of planning goes into that. You guys do a very, very good job. Nobody starves, obviously. So I'm curious about the necessities: refrigeration, ice, dry ice, your cooking facilities. How does that work out? And again, what's the one thing you have to have when you go over there, and not including water? What's the one thing you always take with you just to have it there? So with that, 7-3 Bob, and back to you, KC6ESW.
Well, the one thing that I have to have is a good mattress, nice inflatable mattress. I've always most of the time had your regular air. You blow it up with these little battery operated blower inflators, but it really makes a difference when you go in there and hit the rack at night. And of course, a good either sleeping bag or last year I used a synthetic down comforter, so I went with the synthetic instead of the down. But I still have my North Face down bag that I've had since probably 93, 92. And back when they were still making them, I think in Berkeley, maybe not even. I think it does say China on it somewhere, but it was, it was one of the really old ones, and they don't even make that style anymore. But I would say mattress definitely be. So yeah, we've got everything. We don't go hungry. I've got some pork chops on the menu, a couple lamb chops, I think. Probably just some fish or maybe some ahi tuna. You can bring just about anything. In the cooler, what I do is I make sure that everything's frozen, meat-wise, that could go bad. So that adds to basically your ice supply, which goes pretty fast. You have to have a good ice chest that may last about 3 or 4 days or more. And then the other thing I like to do is I take those little miniature water bottles that, I don't know, probably like Arrowhead, whatever they're called, and just freeze those, like a whole case of those things. And I just line the whole bottom of the ice chest with those, put my other frozen things in, and then put a bag or two of ice on top. But the biggest problem there is that you have to watch the weight. Nothing that can be brought on the boat can be over 45 pounds, because it does have to be sometimes handled by the crew. And, if they're doing it all day, every day, and they don't want anything heavier than that. So that's the only thing you have to watch out for. All right. Well, thank you, Mike. Yeah, you've been around. And if you remember...
Dry ice.
Well, yeah, dry ice. Rick tried dry ice in 6IET, and it was kind of a progressive thing. He first brought it, and probably in a day and a half or something, it was gone. And, of course, with dry ice, it's gone. It doesn't just turn into cold water. It turns into vapor, and it's gone. And the next year, he said, you know what? This dry ice just went away too fast. So he stuck it. He ended up bringing one of those neoprene laptop, I guess it would be the best way to say it, a laptop cover or case that you could zip up, and he put it in there. And it actually lasted a little bit longer. So it was kind of like this experiment thing. And then eventually he decided, well, I'm just going to do regular ice, because with the regular ice, when it melts, even on let's say our fourth day, or when we're actually leaving the campsite and heading towards the boat, in my ice chest, I've still got ice cold water. And especially those little water bottles, those are so great to have once you get through porting all this equipment back to the boat or back to the pier and the landing. You've got these little ice cold, by then they're already melted, but they're ice cold. So I always enjoy just being able to make our provisions so that they're waterproof and let them sit in the cold water. It really is the way to go. But good question, and I thank you for that. Okay, let's say hello to John. K6PFN's next. W6CJX Net Control.
Good evening, Bob, and hello to the net. John, K6PFN here. Another wait till next year. I would love to go to ham camp, but it just doesn't work for my schedule. I'll actually be doing a backpack trip the weekend before at Little Jimmy up in off the Angels Crest Highway, Angels National Forest. So I got that excitement on the calendar. I've been out of town for a few weeks, so I am catching up. I'm listening to the Outdoor School episode or net on YouTube. I'm about halfway through that, but that's really some interesting things that folks shared. I guess that was 2 weeks ago. So anyway, thanks for posting those there, because it's like a good reference document, really. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks, and best wishes on the island, K6PFN.
Bon voyage.
Bon voyage.
There you go. I couldn't resist on that one. I had to come up with something other than crickets, and I figured I'd bring in the seagulls. Every one of those things is a different track, so it's okay. It was kind of fun it was a lot of fun putting it together. Are you kidding? Yeah, we'd love to have you out there too, John. And anyone that camps, even car camping, it would be fine. They're pit toilets. They are what they are. They get a little bit ripe towards the end of the week, but then they keep them very clean. At least we hope they still do. I don't know what's happened in the national park system, under the new administration and all that. But hopefully there's still people there. We might be on our own. Maybe I better bring my brush, but toilet brush. No, it's usually really not too bad, and it works on a system where if you keep the seat down and the cover on, it works on a vacuum type system that pulls all the air through there, and you can actually feel the air when that thing's going. But a lot of people don't put down the seat or the cover, and things happen. So. But it's good, and there's water there, and so it's kind of like I've always said, it's right in between car camping and backpacking. So backpacking, you take only things you need, and every ounce counts, and everything should have 2 or 3 uses. And car camping, throw it in the back of the truck or the car. We might need it, we might not, but who cares? We'll still have it. We can bring it back home. And where this is kind of like, you can't bring everything, but you can bring more than if you're backpacking, especially ice chests. Yeah, that was something I didn't bring on my very first trip, but I found out soon when a guy walked over with an ice cold beer after I took a nice hike and said, you know what, you look like you could use a cold beer. And it had the ice dripping off of it. He just took it out of his ice chest. And I said, oh my God, it's an angel from heaven. It really seemed like it, because I was drinking warm water with Crystal Light or something to make it taste better. W6CJX for the Papa System. Great outdoor net. Thanks, John, for listening too. Yeah, the archives are fun. I get a lot of feedback on that. I think it's a neat thing to have. People can that people can go back and listen if they can't make it. And I've gone back and listened to a couple of them, and I don't even remember some of the stuff that was said and talked about. So it's kind of fun to just kind of go back and have it there. Thank you, John, as always. And let's say hello to Hal, N6HAL.
N6HAL. Thanks, Bob, and thanks for hosting net tonight. I've never been out there, of course, but it sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. I'm not much of a hiking type guy, but I do like to camp, so I could travel light. I could bring just a sleeping bag and some food and an ice chest with a beer in it, of course. But it sounds like you guys have a lot of fun. Maybe I'll have to look into it a little closer next year. But, Bob, I wanted to talk to you and let you know that I tried to get a hold of you. I was up in Tehachapi on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I heard you talking, and I tried to call you, but I guess you didn't hear me. But I was doing really good on Papa 39 out there in Mojave, and when I was approaching Tehachapi, but I guess I just missed you, or you didn't hear me. Yeah, you were talking to another guy, and then you had to leave your conversation with him because I think you had to go do something with Carol, and she was asking you to do something, and you had to leave. But anyway, I tried. I was with my son. We had a good time up there, and I just wanted to try out Pop 39 and see if I could get into you. It seemed like other people were. But hope you guys have a good time out there on the island, and I'll try to listen for you. N6HAL, back to the net.
Well, that makes me sad. I'm sorry I didn't get to say hi to you. I spent a lot of time up in Tehachapi working back in the day, going from Bakersfield up to there, back down to Mojave, and then usually home after that. But we used to add 2 or 3 customers up there in Tehachapi, which was a fun place. And, of course, the windmills are kind of scary if you come up through the back way, if you're coming through Mojave and through Palmdale and you come up that, whatever that road is. And I went through there one time when it was kind of foggy, and I was just like, wow, what is that? And it was, the windmills. Anyway, but no, that's too bad. It will listen for us out there, and I pretty much have the radio on when I'm out there pretty much all day. Bring enough batteries, and I can also do some charging. We have the solar panels and extra battery cells and things. So, listen out for us, and or just give us a call, and hopefully we'll be able to be there and be able to get back to you. And then about 7 o'clock each night, we'll do like a little island net, probably Monday, Tuesday, even on Wednesday. We'll do something special for during the New Hams net, without letting the cat out of the bag completely. All right, Hal, it's good to hear you tonight. Let's say hello to Ron. Ron, KF4 PQH.
This is KF4 PQH. Good evening, Bob and Annette. Looking forward to hearing you all out there at Ham Camp. I enjoy it each year. Never gotten out there, of course, as you well know, but just enjoyed it. Especially, I know I've tracked Adrian at least once with APRS as he hiked across the mountain there. I don't know if he's going to plan on doing that again, but it really does sound like a good time. I enjoy listening to all the nets and stuff out there. So I wish you all well and hope you enjoy it. Just spent a great weekend. Took a ride here from Locust Grove, Virginia, down to Cary, North Carolina, down near Raleigh, and was privileged to see a young man who I held as an infant many years ago get married to the love of his life and celebrate his wedding. And an interesting journey he's been on. And he started out going to James Madison University studying performing music, and is a great French horn player. And somewhere along the way it morphed into he decided to become an attorney. And so he actually got admitted to the Delaware bar, got hired by a very prestigious firm in Delaware doing corporate law right now. And it's just amazing to see the journey and the life of this young man. And great weekend that we were able to celebrate and see a bunch of friends and a bunch of family. So 7-3 out there, everybody. Enjoy the Ham Camp. I'll be listening as much as I can, and looking forward to it. This is KF4 PQH. Back to net control.
Well, maybe on his shingle he can put French horn law. That'd be kind of neat. No, that's a great story. I'm glad you actually held him when he was a baby. That's a really great story. Thank you so much for sharing that. That sounds really good. And, we usually do a pretty good time out there. We usually have some luck on our side. And, I would love to have more people go, like more campers go. It's not that we don't want them. It's, like I said, at the reservations. Now, of course, you could probably go in there today or tomorrow and look up and see if someone's canceled. We've even done that ourselves a couple times. And then one year I had like 5 sites reserved, and it is not expensive. It's only like $15 a night, so you can't find camping in a campground any cheaper than that. But and then I ended up having to cancel like 3 of them because there just wasn't enough people to attend, and I tried publicizing it or whatever. But it is what it is. It's fun. So. And I always think someone that's never been there before should always come on a day trip for sure, because you don't have to worry about a bunch of gear, and you don't have to worry about sleeping over and worrying all about it, but you can enjoy all that the island there has to offer. All right. Well, thank you, Ron. Say hello to Dee, and let's see if Jeff's still out there for us. AB6MB, are you still around, Jeff? Welcome.
Oh, Bob. Yeah, I'm still here, enjoying listening to the conversation here about the island and that. Yeah, Carolyn and I touched bases, to make sure that one of us will be monitoring the comms here on the coast, or over here on the mainland. And so in case something's needed, a phone call or a joke or something, or an airlift in, some water or maybe a double-decker tent or something like that. But, yeah, we'll be at the ready. Keep an eye on you guys and help out where we can over here on the mainland. So that's going to be fun. But I really do enjoy this every year, just, hearing about it and just, and the guys on the radio and I don't know, it's just pretty cool. I just enjoy it. Hearing about it afterwards and before and the day of the trip, it's just vicariously living through you guys, and it's just a great experience over here on the mainland. So with that, Bob, I'll turn it back to you. This is Alpha Bravo 6, Mike Bravo.
Well, great to hear you, Jeff, and you've been a very instrumental part of the comms for us out there on the island over the years. It's been, 3 or 4 years now. I think you've been involved with kind of listening out for us if anybody needs anything, and working with Carolyn and of course, with Adrian doing his island trek. I guess I could explain that really quick. We when we get off the boat there at Scorpion Landing, it's about a half mile to our campsite. It's actually one of the first campsites you're going to come to. And there's many, many more that's a lot further away, like a mile or so up the road. And I'm happy just to do the half mile with all the stuff that we bring. But the thing is that Adrian will take the prisoners' harbor and traverse the the island. Actually, it's about a 12-mile. I'm being conservative, maybe 12 to 14-mile hike that he doesn't have to do, but he does because why? He can. That's something I could do. And I don't know that many people could do it, but he'll take his whole backpack with his whole everything that he's bringing to the island, and he'll, do the whole thing. So it's amazing. And I don't know that he's doing it this year, and I haven't heard, so maybe he might even be out there listening tonight, but we'll see. And believe it or not, don't quote me on this, but I heard that you can actually order DoorDash out there. I don't think you can order let's say, McDonald's or something and have it brought over because it probably wouldn't be too good by the time it gets over there. But I think you can order food and supplies if you need it. And, of course, you could have your loved ones come down, I guess, and say, well, can you have this taken out to the island? But, see, there's the communication thing. I mean, how do the regular people communicate with someone on the mainland where we can? So I'm not sure how that all works, but we'll see. If we see anybody going by with a DoorDash trailer or a cart or something and passing out food. All right, thanks you, Jeff. And let's say hello to RJ again, KM6AVH.
Yeah, KM6AVH. Well, ESW kind of beat me to it there. I was curious if you were ever going to do an evening talking about, talk about the gourmet food that's on the bill of fare for the campsite, what everybody eats and what everybody brings. Kind of make Gordon Ramsay a little bit jealous and do a little shtick about the food on the island. That's it, KM6AVH.
Well, like I'd mentioned, when I first went, I did everything backpacking style. So I had my mountain house, I had some ramen, I had my little camp stove, and nothing, like I said, cold to drink until the guy in the next campsite over walked over with a nice cold, I think it was a Blue Moon. Definitely would have been a priceless commercial with the water and ice dripping down the sides. And so then I realized, wow, I guess I could bring an ice chest. Even if you were backpacking, you can still carry an ice chest with you, right, with your backpack. And then it kind of, morphed into, well, I'm going to bring a bigger tent and a bigger mattress and, live the luxury. And then Rick, actually, N6IET, is the one that started, he was cooking bacon and eggs every morning, and at night he'd have a pork chop with broccoli and then a salad. And I'm like, well, he's eating like regular food. Why am I eating this, which is good. I'm not dissing Mountain House. It has its purpose, and it really is actually very, very good. And they have a new one out. It's called Cheesy Pepperoni Bowl. Oh my gosh. I watched the video on that. It looks pretty darn good. So yeah, that's really good stuff too. And you could do a mixture of both, because if you're out there for any length of time, or as what happened in a couple of years ago, a hurricane decided to come up, and we were actually had to leave the island a day early just to make sure we can get back before Hillary hit us. And I don't think it would have hit us. I don't know if Adrian stayed or not, but anyway, we got home, got our butts home, and then we had the earthquake up in Ojai. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. As the branches were going by our window outside, I'm like, well, at least I'm home, and I don't know if we're going to survive this. W6CJX for the Papa system. Great Outdoor Net discussing Papa Ham Camp 2025. Thank you, RJ. Yeah, and it's a good place to take pictures and stuff. It's unlimited bunch of photography, photo opportunities. Let's say hello to Randy. Good evening, Randy. KO6 JGE. I figured I'd say Juliet Golf Echo.
Yeah, Bob, thanks for hosting the net. I wish I could make the trip, but I can't. So I will be on the mainland, because you guys need someone to talk to. So I'll be here listening for your speeches while you guys are having a great time. Back to the net.
Well, that's something we can pretty much always count on, someone being out there. And I always figured if it was, 2:00 in the morning, and we really needed help, maybe we could send somebody up for the Ranger, and maybe we can also try calling into the Papa system and seeing if somebody could call 911 and let them know where we're at. I mean, it's they're kind of familiar with where the Santa Cruz Island is and Scorpion Campground, and I think that gets switched over to either the Sheriff's Department or someone like that. So, it's comforting to know that you do have some other form of communication out there, which is really great. So, all right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and take another round of check-ins and see if there's anybody we missed or just come in and would like to talk to us out here. Well, we're not out there yet, but I'm almost out there. In my head, I'm out on the island right now doing the island net, but not quite yet. So let's see if there's anyone else out there who'd like to come in. W6CJX Net Control.
KI6LOV, Steve here.
Well, Steve, I think I put everybody to sleep. I know, sometimes I have trouble sleeping. I just go back to the archive and listen to one of our net. Let's see if what Steve's got. He's going out there this time, well, not this weekend. He's going out with us. We're going to get Steve, KI6LOV, out there on the island. So do we have to do that initiation? Well, maybe we'll spare you. We'll just let you watch Brian get licked by island foxes. Go ahead, Steve, welcome.
All right, Bob. Well, that paints the picture, and so I don't know. Anyway, this is Steve, KI6LOV, fresh out of the canyon this weekend. Had a good trip to the cabin, and it was hot, hot, hot. So anyway, I just like to say, Bob, I'm thrilled to finally be scheduled up to take that ride on the ferry out there to the island this year. And I think there's going to be a huge contingent of Papa members on the boat going out. And I've looked at the fleet on the website, and holy cow, these are real deal boats here. They're not fooling around. I am especially looking forward to the fabulous buffet, luncheon buffet that you're going to set up, and we'll see how that goes. And anyway, I just like to thank you for organizing this for all these years. And I know a lot of people here on the system have enjoyed it. And I don't know why it took me so long to get on the program, but I am looking forward to it. I plan to help out around camp for a while and maybe take a short hike. And maybe even next year I'll do a little camping. You never know. And look forward to Bob's check-in that Wednesday night at the end of August there on the New Hams Net at 7 o'clock. We'll get him on the air and say hello. So with that, Bob, I'll give it back to you, KI6LOV.
Well, I didn't totally forget that you were out at the cabin, but we should have had you come on and give us a cabin report or Tales from the Trail, whatever we're calling that. But we'd love to hear. Well, you just did that now, so I'll just cut it and put it in the beginning of the net. Anyway, it's amazing, the miracles of movie magic. Yeah, you're going to love it. You can't help but love it. I mean, and plus, especially for the day, if someone gets over there and is like, oh, this is not for me, but well, so what? Make the best of it. I'm not saying that to you, but, someone that really didn't want to go, but someone forced them to go, and then they get there and like, but I think once they see, especially the little island foxes, I pray they're all out this year, that it's kind of different every year. But, I mean, kidding you not, I've sat there at the picnic table eating Mountain House, or I made my own eggs, but I was sitting there and this little fox, I mean, it couldn't have been more, it looked like a kitten, maybe a little bigger than just your average kitten, looking up at me with those eyes, and right next to my foot. I mean, it wasn't a threat. I'm not going to bite you or anything. And just looking up going, excuse me, could I have a bite of your scrambled egg? And I don't know, we're not supposed to feed him. It's like a $500 fine. But somehow or another, that little chunk of scrambled egg made it down to him or her, and they enjoyed it very, very much. I thought, hey, whatever. They get fed by so many people, and people that leave their food out, shame, shame, shame. But they'll go over there, and it sounds like a pack of hyenas one night. Oh my gosh, we couldn't believe what we were hearing, and these people left everything out. And I mean, we went over there with flashlights. There was foxes running with bags of marshmallows. I mean, whatever they could grab, they took off with it and running for the bushes to have a fox party, I guess. So yeah, you gotta do good food management or anything. They'll take off with your socks. Adrian had socks stolen one time. And food, but they had food in the tent, so they cut through his tent and took his, I think it was like an oatmeal pack or something. They're there for food. They don't care about us. W6CJX for the Papa System, Great Outdoor Net. Let's do a kind of a last call and see if anybody else out there wants to jump in before we end. And like I said, if you have any interest in maybe coming out for a day, I can give you all that information on an email. If you send one to me at w6cjxbob@gmail.com, and I'll pass on a little paper that I've written up that has all the phone numbers and addresses and things you can call to try to get reservations. All right, one more last call to see if we have anyone else out there late that'd like to check in with us.
KC6ESW.
All right, I've got Mike. Mike, welcome. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, KC6ESW, because we're all living vicariously through you guys that go out there and spend the week out there, so a lot of questions, of course. Bugs, obviously, probably a factor during the day, maybe at night. And what do you anticipate the nighttime temperatures will be there for you guys? Does it get pretty chilly, or is it about average, or what's the deal? KC6ESW.
Great question. Bugs aren't really a problem, and you might find that to be hard to believe, but if you picture, there's really there are some bugs. We'll get to that. But there's no standing water other than maybe where you would get your drinking water, or water to boil, or whatever you're going to do with it from the spigot. But there's no like a lake or any river or anything that may cause like mosquitoes. So there's really no mosquitoes. There are probably a few flies running around. I don't know how a fly gets out to that island. It's a long flight for a fly or a bird, I could imagine. These birds all came from. And the ravens are like the size of a turkey. They're these big black, we call them black turkeys. They're just these huge birds. You think our blackbirds are big, boy, these things are huge. And they're very vocal. They let you know that they're there, and they will, they've learned to open people's backpacks, so the rangers tell you to flip all your packs over if you're going to leave them there for a while, and don't expose the zippers because they love shiny things, and especially people's keys. They love to take people's keys and just drop them out there in the ocean. So when they get back to mainland, they have no way of starting their car. That's another one. And the temperatures, it really varies. It's probably 70, 75 at the very, very most, because you are out in the middle of the ocean there. We've left Ventura Harbor, there, and it was one of those heat waves that we had, and it was something like 95 degrees at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, a few years ago, and we're thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be terrible. And you get out there, and it's just, of course, on the boat, it's beautiful. With the wind and the ocean air, but get out there on the island and it's like in the 70s, and I think at night it drops down to like the 60s, maybe high 50s or 60s. But it's, you definitely need a jacket when the sun goes down. We're in a canyon, so a two-wall canyon on each side, and so the sun kind of goes down early and it starts getting a little chilly, and a lot of us just kind of pack it in around 8 or 9 o'clock and just say, okay, we're done. While other people are, playing Parcheesi or something out there. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on the water spigot and the I don't know if I'd call them yellow jackets. We used to call them meat bees, as in meat, and you find those just about any picnic or camping trip you're on. If you've got a piece of meat or something that you've barbecued, you can be guaranteed they're going to come around. And what I used to do is if I made a piece of steak or meat, I'd cut all the fat and stuff off and put it on another picnic table far away. And there's no one there like swatting them away. So they just all go over there. And it was like brilliant. And they left me alone. But they're at the water spigot. That's, I guess, where they get their water. And literally there's probably 100 or 200 of these meat bees just buzzing around this water spigot. And like I said, the funnest part is watching someone for the first time go up there and get their water, because, anybody in their right mind wouldn't go up there with all these meat bees or yellow jackets, whatever, buzzing around the water spigot. But they won't hurt you. It's like a coexistent thing. And you just go up there and run the spigot at least for a minute or so, or a few seconds, so that in case there's one or two that are up inside the nozzle there that come out, so they don't go into your water jug or whatever you're trying to fill there. And other than that, they won't bother you. But like I said, people that have never encountered that just completely freak out. It's actually quite entertaining. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the net, I think. Thank you all for checking in with us tonight, and hope to hear everybody while we're out there. Sure we will. Here and there, we'll try to reach out. There'll be a few of us with radios and things, and where we can get back to you. And, like I said, pretty much handheld coverage right around the camp there. And then for the island net, I'll be using my little BTEC 25-watt UHF, VHF radio, using that for the net. And so it's a little overkill probably, not using 25 watts anyway, but instead of doing it from a handheld, and I did that for many years, just using a handheld. And Mike, if you remember, we talked on D-Star. Remember that? You were on a boat, on a cruise, and then we were out there on the island, and we actually got to talk on Reflector 12 Alpha on D-Star. So that was kind of fun. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the net 2120 and say thank you to everybody that checked in tonight, and thanks to all the PAPA members out there that support us and make this net and all the other nets that we have on the PAPA system, our award-winning nets out on the PAPA system. And of course, Cecil with his legendary leadership, and of course, all the mountaintop people that go there and fix everything and keep everything running. And everybody behind the scenes on the computers, you know who you are, we know who you are, and the net controllers. So thank you all for that, and look forward to seeing everyone soon, hopefully at one of the local functions. And this should be up tomorrow sometime in the early afternoon if you want to go back and hear it, or hear it for the first time if you missed part of it. So this is it, W6CJX. We'll be closing the net and signing off clear, and saying 7-3 to all. Good night. Have a great week ahead.